may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, y'all know generally I start out every single video thanking y'all for all the support, thanking y'all for dropping likes, leaving comments, and everything that y'all do. But at the beginning of this video, I have to give y'all some crap. I mean guys, I went to look at the audience statistics for our channel, and on our main redraft channel, about half of our views were coming from subscribers, half of them were coming by random people stopping by the channel. But on this one, I mean, that number is not even close to the amount of views we are getting by subscribers. So what that tells us is the people that are watching videos, the people that are dropping likes, leaving comments, they're not even subscribed to the channel. What are y'all doing? Go down there, press that subscribe button. It helps us out so much. And yeah, outside of that, I am excited to bring y'all this video. The reason I am making our running back ranking video right now is just because I cannot reply to any more Patreon DMs of asking us, Mason, what are your rookie running back rankings? I am tired of saying, guys, it's a little too early. I don't want to put out an official list yet, but now we are just going to. I'm going to suck it up. This is going to be a way too early rookie running back ranking video where I will tell you right now, this list is going to change after we get the NFL Combine. If we don't get the NFL Combine, it will change as we get official numbers from Pro Days. And it will also change once we get to the NFL draft and we see the situation as well as the draft capital invested into these running backs. But it's always fun to track the running backs throughout the course of the entire offseason. We'll definitely be going a lot deeper than this later on this offseason. But right now, I figured it was nice to just start early with our top 5. So that's what we're going to be doing. And yeah, let's dive into it. Let's stop wasting any more time. And y'all know earlier, about 2 weeks ago, I made a video where I was debating Travis Etienne or Najee Harris for the running back 1 overall. And I came away with the conclusion that it was really too early to say, that we wanted to see the Najee Harris athleticism numbers, and we wanted to see Travis Etienne's official size. But for this video, I am just going to make the official statement that until we get those, Najee Harris is going to be our running back 1. Najee Harris has a couple red flags on his profile that I am not going to be able to overlook. And one, it's his age coming out of Alabama. And no, not because I'm worried that Najee Harris is going to be washed out of the NFL because he's too old. No, I'm not worried about his career being shorter for Dynasty leagues. That is absolutely foolish. I am not an idiot. But if you look at historical hit rates for running backs coming into the NFL at 21 or 22 years old, generally, the guys who are coming out after 3 seasons, the guys that are getting drafted at 21 years old, have a significantly higher hit rate. And this just makes sense. I've talked about this a ton this offseason because the players that were good enough to declare for the NFL draft, the players that already had the resume and proved that they were going to be able to be impact players in the NFL at 21 years old, they're able to go there and then continue to develop their game with their NFL teams. So they are not even close to their ceilings. Whereas on the other hand, the players that decide to stay 4 or 5 seasons come into the NFL, they are a little bit closer as they've had an extra chance to continue to develop. So you kind of have to assume that they have an unfair advantage compared to these other running backs. This is why we were avoiding a Keyshawn Vaughn as the perfect example in the 2020 rookie drafts where a lot of people were excited about him, and we were looking at him as being a 23-year-old running back coming out of Vanderbilt and just saying, guys, are y'all kidding me? Ronald Jones is younger. Ronald Jones is the better option in this backfield. But in the case of Najee Harris, I mean, he has an excuse for why he was staying 4 years at Alabama. I mean, he was not able to see the field early, and this is because of the significant competition surrounding him. I mean, in 2017, in his true freshman season, obviously they had Damian Harris, they had Bo Scarborough, they had Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs all on the roster. I will say Najee Harris was actually able to outproduce Josh Jacobs back in 2017. And Damian Harris, if somehow you don't know who he is, he was selected in the 3rd round by the New England Patriots in 2019. He had an opportunity for the starting job once Sony Michel went on the short-term IR in 2020. he looked average, nothing special. Better than Sony Michel, but that's not saying anything. In the case of Bo Scarborough, I believe he bounced from the Dallas Cowboys, I want to say, maybe to another team. Maybe I am confusing him with the running back at Georgia that was overly sized and fell in the draft due to lack of athleticism a few seasons ago. Regardless, he was a player once on an NFL roster, could easily still be on a practice squad. He is a great talent. And Najee Harris, obviously, we're going to talk about him in the rest of this video, so let's not spend any time there. And then in 2018, if we're looking at this running back depth chart, you have Damian Harris as the running back 1, you had Josh Jacobs as the running back 2, and then you have Najee Harris as the running back 3. So as a true sophomore, you really can't blame Najee Harris for not racking up a ton of stats. You can't blame him for not being the starting running back when you have those talented older players ahead of you. So you can write off that season for him as well. But in 2019, this was his breakout year where he had over 200 rush attempts. He had close to 30 total receptions, over 1,500 total yards, and 20 total touchdowns. Now, this was the year that I wanted to see Najee Harris declare for the NFL draft. I thought he was going to be in that 2020 NFL draft class. A lot of people were surprised when he decided to go back to Alabama, because having that one season at Alabama is enough, especially when you were such a highly recruited high school prospect going into Bama as Najee Harris was. I don't have it in front of me, but if memory serves correct, I believe he was actually a 5-star prospect, someone that was near the very top of high school recruit rankings. So when you already have that on your resume, you have that production at Alabama, your true junior season, I really want to see you just going into the NFL. But if you're going to go back to school, like Najee Harris decided to do for 2020, you want to see exactly what he gave you. You want to see him go out there and have more than 250 rushing attempts. You want to see him have over 40 receptions, as well as close to 2,000 total yards and 30 total touchdowns. Obviously, this was an extremely impressive senior season from Najee Harris. And I will say the one concern here is, what is the speed that's going to be associated with Najee Harris? What is the 40 time going to be? Because right now he's listed at 6'2", 230 pounds. So we have no question marks surrounding the fact that he should be a bell cow type running back. He should be someone that can easily see 25 touches every single game at the NFL level, combined with the fact that he was able to accrue over 40 receptions his final season at Alabama. I mean, he's going to be used on first, second, and third down. That's what you want to see. But what I'm worried about is I am worried that he does not have the big playability. I am worried that he does not have that second gear to outrace those linebackers, because if you watch him, I mean, he has really the David Montgomery effect coming out of Iowa State. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that comparison, but if you look at David Montgomery coming out of Iowa State, I mean, he was a running back that had a great production profile. He was a running back that was so dynamic between the tackles and making defenders miss, as well as breaking tackles on top of that. But his one question mark was surrounding the fact that he had not scored a single touchdown outside the red zone throughout his entire collegiate career. He really did not have that big playability. And here I have the same question with Najee Harris. I mean, if he goes out there and he puts up a decent time in the 40-yard dash, I mean, he is the solidified running back 1. And honestly, with his size, with what he was able to do at Alabama, he already has a very high floor despite the red flags associated with his profile. So that is why we are going to have him over Travis Etienne, who has his own red flag associated with him coming into the NFL draft. And I think Najee Harris has the higher floor. And if Najee Harris has the speed to go along with it, I mean, this player could be truly elite, but it's going to be so important to see what he's able to do at the NFL Combine. All right, so now our next running back that we are going to talk about is going to be a much easier evaluation. And this is going to be Travis Etienne coming in here at the 2 spot. And Travis Etienne right now is 21 years old, should turn 22 very soon. But, I mean, we look at his overall age, and he is like half a year younger than Najee Harris. And we know with Travis Etienne, the one thing that we do not need to worry about is the speed. I mean, Travis Etienne is a straight up track star. I mean, he is going to blow people away at the NFL Combine with his athletic profile. I'm not worried about that at all. What we are worried about with Travis Etienne is the size. Right now, he's listed at 5'10", 205 pounds. And I've said this on multiple videos already, but just in case you have not had the chance to watch, if you are not used to scouting these players coming into the NFL, their college teams always give them a few extra pounds. I mean, they always make them look a little bit more appealing than they actually are. So if Travis Etienne is able to come in at a true 5'10", 205 pounds, I mean, I'm not going to be too concerned about it. But if we see Travis Etienne come in at 5'10", 195 pounds, I mean, that is a major red flag in projecting him to be a bell cow type running back at the NFL level. But what we have to address with Travis Etienne is we have to address his receiving game ability. So if we go through just what he was able to do at Clemson, I mean, his true freshman season in 2017, nothing too special. 8 carries a game, half a reception, 63 total yards a game, and 13 total touchdowns. We see a massive bump up in 2018, where he's able to go up to close to 13.5 carries, then close to 1 reception a game, over 110 total yards, and 26 total touchdowns. But what I am very excited about with Travis Etienne is his progression in the receiving game from his sophomore to junior to senior season, where his sophomore year, he was averaging less than 1 reception a game. To his junior year, he was averaging about 2.5 receptions a game. And we know this is very similar to what we saw with Cam Akers, with Jonathan Taylor, with these running backs that don't necessarily have that receiving game usage early on in college. And that's something that they work on going into their junior season, and they're able to translate it over to the NFL level. But Travis Etienne did not stop there. Travis Etienne decided to go back to Clemson in 2020, something I did not want to see. Very similar with Najee Harris. This is a running back that I wanted to come out in the 2020 draft class. Honestly, it was probably a very smart business decision for them to stay, considering the 2020 class had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, DeAndre Swift. I mean, compared to this draft class, 2020 is in a completely different level. So smart by Travis Etienne to stay for the extra year, where he was able to bump up to 4 receptions a game. I mean, if you look at his carries, only 14 carries. That is going to be hard to say whether or not that's due to his size or that's due just to the Clemson scheme. So we are going to avoid that conversation topic for now. I'm not going to be too worried about his overall carry usage, because I think we're going to have our questions answered at the NFL Combine when we get his official height and weight, and if he's going to have the BMI, if he's going to have the frame to be able to handle 20 touches a game at the NFL level. But regardless, Travis Etienne should be a player that is dynamic with massive big playability, that is a receiving running back as well coming out of the backfield. The only question we have is how many touches per game can Travis Etienne see? But we are going to have that answer most likely very soon. All right, so now if we are going to be going down to our running back 3, this is going to be dropping us down a tier, and this is going to be Javonte Williams. And with Mr. Williams here, I mean, coming out of North Carolina, I know we are looking at a completely different prospect. We are not looking at a 5-star guy like a Travis Etienne or Najee Harris, but we are looking at someone that checks every single box. Guys, if y'all have not been following this channel for a while, when we evaluate these running backs coming into the NFL, there are really 3 main things we need to see. We need to see athleticism, we need to see size, and we need to see receiving game ability. And with Williams, he checks every single box. His true freshman season in 2018, really not able to get anything going, not going to focus on that too much. His true sophomore year was when he was able to really get himself inserted into this offense, averaging close to 13 carries a game, close to a reception and a half, 85 total yards, and 6 total touchdowns. But his true junior year is where he was able to really take that next leap, where he was able to bump up to 14 carries a game, close to 2.5 receptions, 131 total yards, and 22 total touchdowns. And now with Javonte Williams, I mean, I think we can get excited about a few things here. One, he is only 20 years old, and he's going to be 20 years old for the next few months. So he checks that box of being an extremely young prospect coming into the NFL. So he should have space to continue to develop. I mean, Javonte Williams is multiple years younger than me. that is something that is completely demoralizing. Like I say this all the time. I've been looking at these players coming into the NFL now that I can finally say that I'm older than every single one. I mean, it's something that's depressing because they are taking their game to the NFL, and I'm sitting here in my room making fantasy football videos, so that tells you what you need to know about how much of a nerd I am. But anyway, also, on the other hand, he has the size. I mean, right now he's listed at 5'10", 225 pounds. Obviously, those aren't going to be his official numbers, but even if you bring down his weight slightly, he does have the frame to be a 3-down running back. He has the speed where he projects right now to run in the low 4.5s at the NFL Combine. That's more than enough to get us excited about him. And based on him able to average over 2 receptions a game his true junior year, I mean, I think we can safely say that he also has the receiving game ability. The one thing I'm going to want to see with Williams is I know a lot of people in Dynasty are excited, but I want to see what the NFL thinks. I want to see where he is going to land in the NFL draft. I need to see the draft capital, which will signify how many touches he should be seeing for his offense, whether or not he is going to be getting the opportunity or not. Because if he does get the opportunity, I think he could really shine. All right. So now our next running back that we are going to be talking about is going to be someone that I am significantly higher on than the majority of Dynasty players. But people were so excited about him just 12 months ago. And this is going to be Chuba Hubbard. Okay, so right now with Chuba Hubbard, I mean, he is currently only 21 years old. He is listed at 6 foot, 205 pounds, and he is a straight up track star. I mean, he is very similar to Travis Etienne. And if you look at his speed and you look at his frame at the same time, but what he has that Travis Etienne does not is he has a season with a ridiculous amount of usage. I mean, he has a season on his resume where he had almost 200 total yards a game. He had over 20 total touchdowns, 25 carries, almost 2 receptions a game at the same time. So here with Chuba Hubbard, I mean, the main storyline is what happened in 2020. Why did we see a significant fall off from 2019 to 2020? Why was he outplayed by the teammates at Oklahoma State? This was a running back that was a favorite for the Heisman going into the season. I mean, someone that had the nation talking about him. This is one player that actually lost out on a significant amount of money by deciding to go back to Oklahoma State for his redshirt junior year. If he would have just came out after his 2019 season where he had his massive performance, I think we would have seen him be drafted in the 2nd round of the NFL draft. He would have secured the bag. I mean, he would be someone that was on an NFL roster. Now, I don't think we see him drafted in the 2nd round of the NFL draft based on his struggles in 2020. I think we see him fall to either round 3 or round 4, and that is going to be the cutoff point for me. If we see him selected on day 2 of the NFL draft, which is round 3, I think we can be safely saying that Chuba Hubbard is going to get his opportunity at the NFL level. We should be drafting him aggressively in our dynasty drafts based on the upside we saw in 2019. But on the other hand, if we see him fall to round 4, if Chuba Hubbard is a team that people decide to wait until day 3 to take, I think that signifies that he is destined to be a backup running back at the NFL level, someone like a Tony Pollard, and that is going to be something dropping him down this list significantly. So now our last player that we are going to be talking about is someone that I am not too excited about, but his past season in 2019 is something that's going to warrant a top 5 spot on this list. I want to reiterate, guys, this is a way too early ranking list. Once we get official combine numbers, we are going to be able to drastically change this, but this is going to be Kenny Gainwell. I mean, right now, 21 years old, so he checks that box. And in 2019, he was able to average over 3.5 receptions a game, over 150 total yards with 16 total touchdowns. I do have questions surrounding his athletic profile. Right now, he looks like he is going to be running a slow 40-yard dash based on the reports that I can find online. These are nothing close to official numbers, so he could surprise us all at the NFL Combine. But that is what we are going to be waiting for before I can give you a more nuanced take. before I can go out here and really give you something more to work with. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, go down there, drop that like, leave that comment, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton. And yeah, I'll be coming out with a new video tomorrow, as we always do. And have a great day, guys.